no. I heard a loud sound which gave everybody a lot of hope. It was a sound saying sorry, and apologised on behalf of the Australian government for doing what they did, but then they just followed John Howard's policies of still keeping the voice of the Uluru or Aboriginal people quiet and not coming to us to listen to what our views are in how we'd like things done. We were hopeful that when he said sorry, that it would make a difference, but it hasn't. The first difference first non-difference it didn't make. It's like, you know, you pitch somebody's motor car and then they catch you up the street with it, and you're the criminal. You stole a motor car belonging to some other family, but they caught up with you. But you was really willing to say, I'm sorry. So he said, sorry, but you keep the car you stole without giving it back to the owners. And that's the situation he's created now. He's broken his own law, his own legal system. You must give back what was taken. And he had this opportunity to be able to do that, and he didn't do it. And that's my personal view of it. And honestly, there was hope in most of us old generation people who experienced the experience of being stolen from our families and having everything taken away from us. We said, at last, here's a Prime Minister that has got the heart to say sorry and probably will have the heart to give back what they stole. He hasn't done it. In fact, he just followed on the policies and the direction of the last government, John Howard, who don't like Aboriginal people, who don't like blacks because of their policies. I don't know what's wrong with our government system in this country. They just must hate Aboriginal people because they just don't want to let us control our own destiny, even from letting us have a say in how we want to manage our own affairs. And what little things we gain under the Hawks and the Liberal government, we've lost all of those. We've gone back with the intervention we've lost, which was a continuing John Howard policy, which we thought would be the first thing that would go under ruts. Sorry. But it's gone worse. We've gone back to the ration days, for goodness sake. We could have had our say in which people, family members in our community was having difficulty with being unable to handle their money. We could have introduced them to the families and they could have been given the assistance they needed to have to help them manage their finance better, manage their pension in a way that they are able to feed their children, like most of the Aboriginal people in Northern Territory who came under the intervention. Most of us do really care and love our families and we know how to look after them. We are not, all of us, and most of us really are not alcoholics. Drunks and drugs or pedophiles, which they try to make us out to be so that they can come in and increase in having their own government workers take up positions to talk to us about issues and so-called close the gap, which the close the gap is all bullshit stuff. Look, we are already entitled to have a gap of shorter life between blacks and whites dying. As Australian citizens under the care of the government, we already got that right to be treated fairly, to be given quality education. They don't have to take more away from us. They don't have to treat us any more worse than they've already done, but they are doing that, unfortunately. That's me. I'm a very old guy. I've been around for many years and I've seen the different policies and what it has done. I have seen that gave us lots of hope, but boy, was I so hopeful when Rudd, the Prime Minister, was elected, I said, here is a new guy with, I hope, a new kind of thinking, which will implement policies that will give us our land back, assist us in getting our families back, help us get our culture back, and help us regain what we lost with the word sorry in the form of whatever compensation was necessary. It hasn't happened. He just said, sorry. That to me is just an empty bang on an empty drum with empty results. It isn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. If it wasn't genuine with the purpose of returning what he stole, he shouldn't have said it. That's my opinion of Rudd and the stolen generation. And his word saying sorry. It was a hollow sound that gave us a lot of hope, but has made it more hopeless. Unfortunately, that's the way it is from where I'm sitting today. And looking back, things haven't got better. And I would say in many instances it's gone worse. But I only live at Muditjuli in one of the many communities under that system. And I reckon if they could only come to us before they implement policies and ask, this is the issue we're considering, this is what we intend to do, what are your thoughts about it? And let us have a say. And what I'd like to say to every Prime Minister and every government representatives out there who think they're doing the right things for people they're responsible for, try your policy on yourself and your family and the people in your city. If it goes well for you and the people in your city and everybody's happy with it, then come to talk about it with us and see if we want the same thing to happen to us. At the moment, you are totally out of line and you are not considering our right as citizens and under your care living in this country we call Australia. You know, what I think is really important in this country is that every one of us should understand how the Indigenous culture works amongst our people here. And every one of us should be anxious to learn, to understand the way it functions, as we have functioned, for the many years we've lived here. I believe that one of the right things for us to do in this country is to introduce many of the Aboriginal languages to all Australians who are studying or going to school from preschool up to university, as well as seeing it giving the local language a status of importance that we give other countries' language, and encourage students to learn those language so that we can feel a sense of belonging. Let us encourage a cultural learning of connecting to the culture of this country so that you can feel part of it and be able to care for it to the level it needs to be cared for. Because once you can understand the Aboriginal system of belonging to the land you conceived and given birth on, it really makes a difference, because you really do understand the things so many of our people say, the earth is our mother, same as the sun, and you will feel that relationship with all other living brothers and sisters, which is not necessarily human beings, but inclusive under our cultural system of all, and all, then that gives us the right to be responsible for the good condition of our plants, animals, birds, reptiles and waterways and landforms, and not be so hasty in creating such destruction over things that are more
important to us if they were alive and in good health. Because as long as the land is healthy, as long as our trees are healthy, our waterway is clean and healthy, we too will be healthy. But if we allow it to get sick, we too will get sick. If we drive it to the point where it's going to die, we too will die. That's the natural truth of how life is.